Kiran, tell me, does everybody need to take the spores, and what's the most common benefits?
So that's a very good question. A lot of people will say, you know what, I don't really have any particular digestive issues. Do I really need to take the product? Well, if you look at the course of human evolution, where did we get exposure to these types of bacteria? We got exposure to them in our outside environment. So our hunter-gatherer foraging ancestors who ate and lived off the land got huge doses of these particular bacteria on a daily basis every time they ate or drank something. And that's why these bacteria have developed this long-term symbiotic relationship with our body. And one of the biggest things that they do is they protect the body. They detoxify the gut. They improve the growth of the good bacteria. They suppress the bad bacteria. They train the immune system. All of these things are necessary on a daily basis because the modern lifestyle that we live is very much an assault to our system. Everything we're exposed to on a daily basis, from the foods we eat, the GMOs that we're exposed to, the chemicals in our household, in our personal care products, the antibiotics, the fluoride in drinking water, all those things target and affect the gut in a negative way on a daily basis. So we need these spores in there to reverse that damage that we're doing every day. So we need them as a protective system within the gut itself, and our ancestors used them that way for millions of years. And the problem is we don't get them in our food anymore. I would say if you were living off the land, if you lived on the side of a mountain, you grew your own food, you foraged for roots and tubers, you definitely don't need them. But if you lived in a city or you lived in a modern, house or apartment or building, you're going to need them. If you buy your food from a grocery store, you're going to need them. And so they really create a protective barrier for the body from the outside world's assault on the microbiome. So everybody should be utilizing them. And then where did they come from? So these particular strains were all isolated and developed by London University Royal Holloway. They are the preeminent spore research institute in the world. They run the annual spore conference, the International Spore Conference. The microbiology department there have more publications on spores than anybody else. So we've actually worked with them to isolate these particular species that we know perform all these beneficial functions in the gut. Because there are spores out there that actually will get in the gut but don't do a whole lot. They function in other animals more so than they do in humans. So these are all human isolates, originally developed by London University, fully characterized by London University, and we've developed them commercially to make it available in products. That's our partnership with them. Now, the biggest benefits people see, the more short-term benefits are just better bowel movements. You'll start to feel what a lot of people tell us is much better clearing during a bowel movement. A lot of people experience that kind of impartial bowel movement, what I call it, or a partial bowel movement, where you go to the bathroom, you feel like you need to go, but you go. Once you're done, you feel like you haven't gone completely. It's not a complete bowel movement. You don't feel that complete flattening of the belly, the distension that was there previous to having to go to the bathroom, that full satisfaction of actually clearing out the colon. That's one of the things that we hear about all the time is just the bowel movements start to change. You get more frequent and better movements in total. The digestion and assimilation of food and nutrients becomes more apparent fairly quickly. So you people who start to feel more energy, they start to eat less because they're getting more nutrients from the food. So your body's not signaling that it's hungry as much because you're actually absorbing more nutrients. And then the things like people with inflammatory conditions, eczema, psoriasis, or the immune dysfunctions, those take longer. You start to see those changes within 2 months or 3 months, but the changes are very profound. We have a number of people who had long-term environmental allergies, 10 years, 15 years on Allegra and all these other drugs, who are now totally free of any prescription or over-the-counter allergy meds because their allergies are gone. Pet allergies are gone. Food sensitivities are gone. You can start adding back foods to your diet that you've had to eliminate because you are sensitive to it. And that's how it should be, because humans evolved as omnivores. We evolved to be able to eat virtually everything in sight, and that's how we moved up the food chain so quickly. But now you have people that eat barely 10 things because they're so sensitive to so many things. So you'll start to see the food sensitivities going away as well, and you'll be able to add back foods to your diet. So a lot of fundamental changes will happen in the body, and many of things that people might not even realize is due to change in your gut, like your mood. All of a sudden, people are dealing with stress better. Their anxiety levels are lower. If they have borderline depression, they start to feel mood elevations. A lot of those things are due to the improvements in the gut itself. So those are things that we tend to see fairly commonly.
And so in terms of dosage, it's 1 to 2 capsules per day, regardless?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We tell everyone to start with 1 capsule a day, take it with a meal, and for the first couple of weeks, and let your body adjust to it, because these bacteria will go in and will kill off bad bacteria. So if you have a sensitive system, you might find a detox reaction. Mm-hmm. Some people can get that, but you mitigate that by just doing 1 cap a day for the first couple of weeks. Now, if you've got immune dysfunctions, chronic constipation, chronic diarrhea, IBS, it's always smart to move to 2 caps a day, but 2 of them taken at the same time. Again, not 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, at the same time with the meal, and do that for a few more weeks to really bring the level of these bacteria up in the gut and really bring the peristaltic activity, the immune function, everything under control. And once you're at the 2 cap a week level, usually within the first 4 or 5 weeks, you see major changes within the digestive tract and immune system as well. Now, once you've seen those changes and you've got your symptoms under control and the issues are under control, you can actually back down to 1 a day as a maintenance level, just to keep up with the health benefits and changes.
Okay, thank you.